Hello everyone, welcome to IIS deemed to be University Jaipur. I, CA Priya Jain, welcome you all. We were discussing the introduction and overview of GST. Learners, we have already discussed that what GST is. Now it is important to understand section 7, that is concept or scope of supply. It is important to note that which supply is taxable and which supply is exempt under GST. When supply takes place, then it can be for consideration, it can be without consideration, it can be deemed as supply, and there are certain supplies on which no GST is levied, which is known as specific exclusions under Schedule 3. Composite and mixed supply are covered under Section 8. Now let us understand the different schedules under Section 7. Now, when we talk about Section 7, then there are 4 types of activities, like all forms of supply, sale, exchange for consideration. This is the first point. All activities specified in Schedule 1 without consideration. This is the second point. Import of services. This is the third point. And the fourth point is activities specified in Schedule 2, which is known as deemed supply. I am repeating again the 4 activities: supply for consideration, supply without consideration, import of services, and activities specified in Schedule 2 known as deemed supply. These 4 activities are taxable under the GST. Activities specified in Schedule 3 are known as specific exclusions, or in short, exempt services on which no GST is levied. Now, we will discuss the both schedules, import and consideration concept one by one. When we talk about for consideration, then all forms of supply such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business is taxable under GST. Second situation, importation of services. You must clearly see that importation of goods are not covered under GST, as in case of importation of goods, custom duty is levied. So, we do not consider GST over here. But whenever services are being imported for a consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business, it is taxable under GST and considered as supply of service. Now, when we talk about the activities specified specifically in Schedule 1, made or agreed to be made without a consideration, then it is taxable under the GST. Now let's understand the Schedule 1 through some examples. Whenever a transfer takes between principal and agent, that is, goods are supplied by principal to agent without consideration, where agent undertakes to supply such goods on behalf of principal, is considered as a supply, and hence it is liable to GST. Another example, whenever an employer gives a gift to employee, then it is considered as supply if the amount of gift exceeds rupees 50,000. Another example, whenever a supply takes place between distinct persons or related persons, then also it is treated as supply. Now, let's understand what is deemed supply. The deemed supply is covered under Schedule 2, and there is a list of activities which are stated under Schedule 2. On those goods and services, they are treated as deemed supply and hence taxable under GST. For example, job work transactions, temporary transfer of intellectual property rights, transfer of title in goods at a future date, works contract, transfer of right in goods without transfer of title in goods, transfer of title in goods under agreement that property will pass in future, renting of immovable property, and so on. So there is a complete list available in Schedule 2. On those items, GST is compulsorily levied. Now, let's understand Schedule 3, which is the most important section, as this is the negative list. Negative list denotes that on these items, no GST will be levied. That is, these activities are treated neither as supply of goods nor supply of services. Let's understand point one by one. Activities or transactions specified in Schedule 3. Again, there is a complete list. On those items, no GST is levied. For example, sale of land and building, services of funeral, burial, crematorium or mortuary services, functions and duties performed by Ministry of Parliament, MLAs, members of Panchayat, local authority members, and so on. Services provided by court, tribunal, established under any law, and so on. Next, such activities or transactions undertaken by central government, state government or local authority. That means activities are being performed by the government body themselves. So they do not charge GST as the activities are being performed by government itself. State government, local authority in which they are engaged as public authorities, as may be notified by the government on the recommendation of the council. They are treated neither as supply of goods nor supply of services. So these are two categories which you have to remember. As I cannot put everything into my notes, so you need to check these schedules as soon as possible. Now, there is an important point which you need to remember. The government may, on the recommendation of council, can specify by notifications the transactions that are treated as supply of goods and not as supply of service, or supply of services and not as a supply of goods. That means government, on the recommendation of the GST Council, they can specify any transaction and they can consider any transaction as supply of goods or as supply of services. Now, let's move on to the next section, which is Section 8. I hope you have understood Section 7. Section 8 deals with composite and mixed supplies. Now, if you could see the example, then you could really understand it. When we talk about mixed supply, in the current example, if you could see, there is a pen and there is a tie. Since if you could really understand the concept, these both things are not connected to each other. If a person is professionally dressed up, then it doesn't mean that he need to carry a pen with himself. Or if the person is having a pen, then it doesn't denote that the person is a professional person. So these both items are not naturally bundled. But when we see on the other side, there is a hotel and there is a breakfast. And you have usually seen that whenever we take a stay in a hotel, then breakfast is complimentary. So this is known as composite supply, where both the items are naturally bundled. Now, let's understand the concept. When a single good or service is supplied, then it is easy to determine the applicable GST rate. That is, if I am just purchasing a pen, then I could easily identify the tax rate and tax could be levied on pen. But when pen and tie, they both are being seen together, then there arises a confusion. So whenever any good or service is supplied on a single hand, then it is very easy to determine the applicable GST rate. But when supplies are a combination of goods or services, where each component of such supply attracts a different rate of tax, then to identify the rate of tax so applicable, it becomes a very difficult task. So now, by the concept of mixed and composite supply, we will try to find out the difference among the both. Let's discuss the composite supply at a first. It means a supply made by a taxable person to a recipient, consisting of two or more taxable supplies of goods or services which are naturally bundled and supplied together in ordinary course of business, and out of all supplies, one of which is a principal supply. Now, let's discuss the earlier example which we saw. There was a hotel room and breakfast was there. So whenever you are taking a hotel room, then breakfast is complimentary. Can you say, if I am taking a breakfast, then the hotel should provide me a complimentary night stay over there? No, it is not possible. So what is the principal supply among the both? The principal supply is the hotel stay. Due to hotel stay, I am getting a complimentary breakfast free. So when we talk about composite supply, what is the principal supply in our example? The hotel night, the night stay. Hence, tax rate applicable for goods or services which is treated as principal supply is the rate of tax for composite supply. So the rate applicable on hotel will be applied on the breakfast also. We'll understand this again into the difference table which I have incorporated into the PPT. Now, let's understand about mixed supply. Supply of two or more individual supply, but they are not naturally bundled. That is, they could be separated and they could be sold all together alone. They can be separated and hence none of these supplies is principal supply. Tax rate of that supply will be taken which attracts the highest rate of tax. Now, let's understand through our difference table, and in the difference table I have given an example also. First, we'll start with composite supply. It consists of two or more supplies that are naturally bundled. In case of mixed supply, it consists of two or more supplies that are not naturally bundled. Second difference, one of these supplies is a principal supply. So in our example, it was the hotel room. Though it can be supplied independently, still they are being supplied together. Next, tax liability shall be the rate of principal supply, and tax liability shall be the rate applicable to the supply that attracts highest rate of tax. For example, charger supplied along with mobile phone. So, charger is usually supplied with mobile phones. So if you are purchasing a mobile phone, then you will get a charger. So they both are naturally bundled. Now we'll understand about this example, the concept and the rate to be applied. Principal supply in the above example is mobile phone. Hence GST rate on mobile phone shall be applied, which is 18%. So on the whole value, that is the value of mobile phone, for example, the value of mobile phone is 10,000 and the charger's value is 1,000. So on the total 11,000 rupees, 18% tax rate will be applied. Another example of mixed supply, a gift pack comprising of chocolates and sweets. GST rate on chocolates is 28% and GST rate on sweets is 5%. At first you need to understand, when we talk about a gift pack which is comprising of chocolates and sweets can be sold independently. But when they both are being sold at together and the GST rates are different, then on the entire gift pack, GST shall be levied at the highest rate of tax, which is 28%. So if the value of chocolate is 1,000 and the value of sweets is 500. So on the total value, if it is being sold all together, then on 1,500 rupees, tax will be charged at the rate of 28%. So by this, we have covered both section 7 and section 8. I hope I have made you to understand both the concepts. Thank you.